The grainy images flickered across television screens, a constant reminder of the man who had declared war on the United States. Usama bin Laden, the mastermind behind the 9/11 attacks, became a ghost-like figure, his whereabouts unknown, his reach seemingly boundless. The world watched with bated breath as the United States, wounded yet resolute, embarked on a global manhunt, determined to bring the architect of terror to justice. The pursuit of bin Laden would span nearly a decade, a relentless quest that tested the limits of intelligence gathering, military might, and international cooperation. This is the story of that hunt, a deep dive into the shadowy world of espionage, the painstaking process of piecing together fragmented clues, and the final, daring raid that brought an end to bin Laden's reign of terror. The attacks on September 11, 2001, left an indelible scar on the American psyche. The collapse of the Twin Towers, the smoldering ruins of the Pentagon, the heroic sacrifice of passengers on Flight 93, these images became seared into the collective memory of a nation. In the aftermath of the attacks, as the dust settled and the enormity of the loss sunk in, one question reverberated across the globe. Who was responsible? The answer came swiftly. Usama bin Laden, the leader of the Islamic extremist group Al-Qaeda, claimed credit for the attacks, boasting of his followers' success in striking at the heart of the world's superpower. The United States, reeling from the deadliest attack on its soil since Pearl Harbor, vowed swift and decisive retribution. President George W. Bush declared a war on terror, promising to hunt down bin Laden and his Al-Qaeda operatives wherever they hid. The CIA, tasked with leading the intelligence gathering effort, faced an unprecedented challenge. To locate a single man hidden somewhere in the vast, unforgiving terrain of Afghanistan or Pakistan, protected by a network of loyal followers and shrouded in a veil of secrecy. The search for bin Laden became an obsession for the intelligence community, a relentless pursuit fueled by a thirst for justice and a determination to prevent future attacks. The CIA poured resources into the effort, deploying agents to remote corners of the world, cultivating informants and intercepting communications in a desperate attempt to penetrate the fog of war and pinpoint bin Laden's location. Long before the name Usama bin Laden became synonymous with global terrorism, he was a shadowy figure operating on the fringes of international conflict. Born into a wealthy Saudi family, bin Laden embraced a radical interpretation of Islam, channeling his wealth and influence into supporting the Mujahideen resistance against the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan in the 1980s. It was during this period that he honed his skills as a guerrilla leader, forging alliances with other militant groups, and developing a deep-seated hatred for the United States, which he viewed as an imperial power meddling in the affairs of the Muslim world. Intelligence historian, media, footage of Al-Qaeda's founding in 1988. In 1988, bin Laden formally founded Al-Qaeda, a pan-Islamic militant organization dedicated to waging jihad against the West. Under his leadership, Al-Qaeda evolved from a loosely organized network of fighters into a sophisticated terrorist organization with global reach, capable of planning and executing complex attacks on civilian targets. Throughout the 1990s, bin Laden's rhetoric grew increasingly fiery, urging his followers to target Americans and their allies wherever they could be found. The CIA, alerted to bin Laden's growing influence and his anti-American pronouncements, began tracking his movements in the early 1990s. However, the agency faced significant challenges in gathering intelligence on bin Laden and his organization. Al-Qaeda operated in the shadows, relying on a decentralized network of operatives and maintaining strict operational security. Furthermore, bin Laden himself was a master of disguise and deception, constantly moving between safe houses and employing a variety of aliases to evade detection. Despite these obstacles, the CIA managed to gather valuable intelligence on bin Laden and his organization through a combination of human intelligence, signals intelligence, and imagery analysis. Agents recruited informants within Al-Qaeda's ranks, providing insights into the group's structure, ideology, and operational planning. Analysts monitored Al-Qaeda's communications, intercepting phone calls, emails, and radio transmissions in an effort to decipher coded messages and uncover potential plots. Satellite imagery and aerial reconnaissance provided glimpses into Al-Qaeda training camps and suspected hideouts. The 9/11 attacks transformed the hunt for bin Laden from a high-priority counterterrorism operation into a national obsession. The United States, wounded but resolute, launched a global war on terror, invading Afghanistan to topple the Taliban regime that had harbored bin Laden and his followers. The CIA, now armed with expanded authorities and vast resources, intensified its efforts to track down the al-Qaeda leader, deploying thousands of agents, analysts and special operators to the front lines of the fight. CIA analyst. The post-9/11 manhunt for bin Laden was characterized by a sense of urgency and a willingness to employ all means necessary to achieve its objective. The CIA pursued every lead, however tenuous, following a trail of clues that led from the mountains of Afghanistan to the bustling cities of Pakistan and beyond. The agency established a vast network of informants, offering rewards for information leading to bin Laden's capture and cultivating relationships with tribal leaders, warlords, and even former enemies in the hope of gaining an edge in the search. The intelligence community employed a multi-pronged approach to tracking bin Laden, combining traditional espionage techniques with cutting-edge technology. Human intelligence remained paramount, with the CIA relying heavily on its network of informants to provide insights into bin Laden's whereabouts and activities. Signals intelligence played an increasingly important role as well, with analysts intercepting and analyzing vast quantities of electronic communications in an effort to identify patterns and glean valuable nuggets of information. Imagery analysis also proved crucial in the hunt for bin Laden, as the CIA and its partners employed sophisticated satellites and unmanned aerial vehicles to monitor suspected al-Qaeda hideouts. Analysts painstakingly scrutinized thousands of hours of footage, searching for any sign of bin Laden or his top lieutenants. The intelligence gathered through these various means was then painstakingly pieced together, gradually building a more complete picture of al-Qaeda's network and bin Laden's movements. The hunt for bin Laden was a testament to the power of intelligence gathering, a complex and often dangerous endeavor that relied on a diverse array of tools and techniques. The CIA, working in close coordination with other intelligence agencies, deployed a vast network of human assets, sophisticated surveillance technologies, and cutting-edge analytical capabilities to penetrate the veil of secrecy surrounding al-Qaeda and its elusive leader. CIA analyst, human intelligence, often considered the most valuable yet challenging form of espionage, played a pivotal role in the search for bin Laden. The CIA relied heavily on its network of informants, cultivating relationships with individuals who had access to al-Qaeda's inner circle or could provide insights into the group's activities. These informants, motivated by a variety of factors ranging from financial gain to ideological opposition to al-Qaeda, provided crucial pieces of the puzzle, often at great personal risk. Al-Qaeda informant signals intelligence, the interception and analysis of electronic communications, proved increasingly important in the digital age. The CIA, working closely with the National Security Agency, monitored a vast array of communications channels, including phone calls, emails, text messages, and internet traffic. Analysts employed sophisticated algorithms and linguistic analysis techniques to identify patterns, decipher coded messages, and uncover potential threats. Imagery analysis, the interpretation of photographic and electronic images, provided another critical layer of intelligence. The CIA and its partners utilized a variety of platforms, including satellites, unmanned aerial vehicles, and manned reconnaissance aircraft, to collect imagery of suspected al-Qaeda hideouts and training camps. Analysts scrutinized these images for any signs of activity, utilizing sophisticated software to identify patterns, track movements, and assess potential threats. The information gathered through these various means was then fed into a vast analytical machine, where it was processed, analyzed, and disseminated to policymakers and military commanders. The intelligence community employed a collaborative approach, sharing information across agencies and international borders to ensure that all available resources were brought to bear in the hunt for bin Laden.